The desert stretched wide, endless and empty. The sun burned above like a fiery eye, and the sand shifted with each gust of wind. Somewhere between the dunes, a young man named Sam walked alone. He was a nomad, used to long days under the heat, used to silence, used to carrying only what he needed to survive. But on this day, he felt something strange. He felt distant, not distant from the desert. That part he knew well. He felt distant from someone who had once mattered to him. Her name was Lily. She had been his closest friend. They had shared stories under the stars, walked side by side through empty lands, and dreamed together of reaching the horizon. But one day, she left. She moved far away, chasing a life he could not follow. Since then, Sam had carried her memory, like a hidden weight in his heart. He wondered if she thought of him. He wondered if she looked at the same stars or if she had already forgotten him. He wanted to reconnect, but he didn't know how. In the desert, there were no letters, no phones, no quick paths to faraway places. Only wind, sand, and silence. That silence felt heavy now. As Sam walked, his thoughts grew louder. He remembered her laughter, bright like a flame in the night. He remembered the way she listened, as if his words mattered in a world that often forgot him. But memory was not enough. It was like holding smoke. The more he tried to grasp it, the more it slipped away. That night he made camp under the stars. The fire flickered weakly and his water skin was nearly empty. He sat alone, staring at the flames, whispering words no one could hear. "Lily," he said softly, "I miss you." The desert gave no answer. But then something unexpected happened. In the quiet night, he noticed a faint glow in the distance. It was not firelight. It was not the moon. It was something strange, something that seemed alive. Curious and a little afraid, Sam followed it. There, among the dunes, he found a figure collapsed on the sand. Not human. The skin shimmered with colors that shifted like water. The eyes were closed, the breath shallow. It was an alien wanderer lost in the desert. Sam's heart raced. He had heard of travelers from the stars but never seen one. This creature was dying, and he had nothing left but a single drop of water in his skin. He hesitated. His life depended on that water. But so did the aliens. He knelt down, lifted the alien's head gently, and pressed the last drop to its lips. The alien stirred. Slowly its eyes opened, glowing faintly. It looked at Sam with confusion, then with gratitude. No words were spoken, but something passed between them. Understanding. Sam smiled faintly. "You're not alone," he whispered. "Not while I'm here." That night, Sam stayed beside the alien. He shared what little warmth his fire gave, even though he shivered in the cold. He stayed awake, watching, guarding, remembering Lily's kindness and how she had once done the same for him on a stormy night long ago. And in that moment, he realized something. He might not know how to reach Lily, but the heart that longed for her was the same heart that gave freely to a stranger. That was the strength of being human, the ability to care, even when it hurt. Even when hope seemed small. By dawn, the alien was stronger. It rose slowly, its body glowing brighter. It touched Sam's shoulder, as if to say thank you. Then, with a soft hum, it vanished into the rising light, leaving behind only a mark in the sand and a feeling in Sam's chest. He stood alone once more, but he no longer felt only distance. He felt something else. Hope. Maybe he could not reach Lily today. Maybe he would not see her tomorrow. But someday, somehow, he believed their paths would cross again. And when that day came, he would have more than sadness to share. He would have stories of survival, of kindness, of what it meant to be human in a vast and lonely desert. He turned back toward the horizon, carrying nothing but an empty water skin, a memory of a glowing friend, and the strength of his heart. The desert was still endless, the sun was still harsh. But inside, Sam felt a little less empty. And as he walked, he whispered again, this time not only to Lily, but to himself. The morning after the alien vanished, Sam stood alone on the dunes. The desert looked the same, sand stretching forever, sun rising high, wind whispering softly. But he felt changed. Something inside him was lighter, though his water skin was empty and his body tired. He walked on, step after slow step, but his thoughts were not only on survival anymore. They circled back to Lily. He wondered where she was now. Was she safe? Was she happy? Did she still remember the nights they spent staring at the stars, speaking of dreams too big for two wanderers? The thought made his chest heavy again. Distance was cruel. It was not just miles. It was silence, the kind that grew louder the longer it lasted. By noon, the sun burned stronger. His throat was dry, his legs weak. But instead of despair, he thought about the alien he had saved. It had been a choice without hesitation. He had given everything, his last drop of water, to a stranger. If he could do that, then maybe he could find the courage to face his own loneliness. He remembered Lily's smile, how she once told him, "The desert doesn't decide who we are, Sam. We decide. We choose kindness, even when it's hard." Her words felt alive now, echoing with the lesson he had just lived. That night, he built another small fire. Sparks rose into the sky like tiny stars. He sat beside it, watching the flames, and finally spoke out loud. "Lily," he whispered, "I don't know where you are. I don't know if you'll ever hear me, but I'm still here, and I'll find a way, I promise." The fire cracked as if answering him. The next day, Sam found something unusual in the sand. A small object, half buried, glowing faintly. He picked it up. It was smooth, like glass, but warm in his hand. He knew it had been left by the alien. A gift. A sign. When he held it close, it pulsed with soft light. And for a moment, he saw something in his mind, an image of stars far away, and a path of light leading through them. He gasped and almost dropped it. The gift was a reminder. He was not alone. The universe was wider than the desert, and in that wide space, connections could still be made. Sam held the object tightly. "Thank you," he said to the empty sky. The days passed, harsh and long, but his heart carried something new, hope. At night, he began to write in the sand with a stick. He wrote letters to Lily, though she could not see them. He wrote about the alien, about the desert, about his promise to find her. He wrote until the wind erased his words. But he didn't stop. It was not for her eyes. It was for his heart, so it would not drown in silence. One evening, as the stars filled the sky, he remembered how Lily used to say the stars were letters written for those who are far away. She believed that when you looked up, you were never truly apart. Sam lay on his back, staring at them. For the first time since she left, he didn't just feel sadness. He felt her presence in the night, as if the stars carried her voice across the distance. "We'll meet again," he whispered, as if she could hear. The days grew harder. Food was scarce. His water bag stayed empty more often than full. But he pressed on. Humans had always pressed on. He thought of the ancestors who crossed deserts with nothing but faith. He thought of how people found ways to reconnect, even across oceans. He was one man in a vast world, but that was enough. Humanity was not measured by numbers or power. It was measured by heart. And Sam's heart, though cracked with loneliness, still beat strong. One morning, after a long march, he reached a high ridge. From there, the desert stretched endlessly behind him, but ahead, far in the distance, he saw something new. Green. Trees. Life. He fell to his knees, tears burning in his eyes. He had found an oasis. The water sparkled under the sun. He ran, stumbling, laughing, crying all at once. He drank until his body was strong again, and as he filled his skin with water, he thought of Lily. Someday, he would find her. He didn't know how. He didn't know when, but he believed. The gift from the alien still glowed faintly in his pocket, as if reminding him, connections survive, across distance, across silence, across even the endless desert. That night by the oasis, he built another fire. He sat beside it, holding the glowing object, and whispered again. An alien wanderer fell in the desert. A human nomad offered his last drop of water, and because of that, I remember who I am. I will find you, Lily, no matter how far. The stars above were bright, and in them, Sam saw not only the memory of his friend, but the promise of tomorrow. The desert was still wide, the world still lonely, but his heart was alive with hope. And he walked forward, not away from the past, but toward the day he would no longer be distant from the one he cared about. The oasis was quiet, like a hidden miracle in the middle of the endless desert. Sam stayed there for a few days, drinking deeply, resting and letting his strength return. The cool shade of the palms and the sound of water were like music after so much silence. But even in this place of life, his heart was restless. He kept thinking of Lily. Her absence was like a shadow that never left even when the sun was bright. He walked along the water's edge, his reflection broken by ripples. You'd laugh if you saw this, he whispered to the empty air. You always said I'd find a way to survive. You were right. But surviving isn't the same as living. Not without you. At night, under the stars, he held the alien's glowing gift close. The soft light reminded him of that night when he gave away his last drop of water. It reminded him of kindness, of courage, of connection. But it also stirred something deeper, an idea that maybe this strange object could help him bridge the distance between himself and Lily. He didn't know how. He didn't know when. But the thought gave him strength. On the fourth day, Sam decided, he could not stay. The oasis was safe, but safety was not enough. He needed purpose. He filled his water skin, took the glowing gift, and walked again toward the horizon. The desert stretched before him, wide and endless. But now he walked with steady steps. He thought of Lily with each one. Days turned into weeks. The sun burned, the nights froze. The sand swallowed his footprints, but he pressed on. The loneliness was sharp, but his hope was sharper. One evening, as the sky turned red with sunset, Sam reached a rocky plain. Among the stones he found something strange. Marks carved into the rock. They were not human marks. They curved and glowed faintly, like the gift in his pocket. He touched the carvings, and the gift pulsed in answer. For a moment, the world around him blurred. He saw flashes of light like a memory not his own. He saw stars, a path, and a great distance crossed in an instant. Sam stumbled back, heart racing. The gift was more than a memory. It was a key. He sat on the rocks, staring at the glowing patterns. For the first time since Lily left, he felt not only sadness but possibility. The universe was larger than he ever imagined, and maybe, just maybe, the gift could help him reach her. But fear whispered too. What if he failed? What if she had moved on? What if she no longer remembered him? He clenched his fists. No, he said firmly to the empty plain. Even if she forgot, I'll remember. That's what it means to be human. We keep caring, even when it hurts. The carvings glowed brighter, as if answering his resolve. That night, Sam built a fire, near the rocks. He stared at the flames and remembered the night with the alien, the night he had chosen kindness over survival. That choice had brought him here. That choice had given him hope. He spoke softly into the night. Lily, I don't know if I'll ever reach you, but I'll keep walking. I'll keep trying. I'll never stop. The stars shone above him, endless and patient. He lay back, staring at them, and for the first time in a long while, he smiled. Next morning, Sam set out again, following the faint glowing marks that stretched across the rocky plain. They were like a trail, left for him to find. Each step was heavy, but each step was filled with purpose. He thought of Lily constantly, her laughter, her voice, the way she looked at the stars as if they were old friends. Those memories hurt, but they also pushed him forward. They reminded him why he walked. By evening, he reached a cliff. Below it, the desert stretched far and wide, but in the distance, he saw something incredible. Towers of metal rose from the sand, shining in the fading light. They were not human towers. They were alien, tall and strange, reaching toward the sky. Sam's breath caught. Perhaps this was where the alien came from. Perhaps this was where the gift could take him. Perhaps, just perhaps, this was the first step toward finding a way back to Lily. He stood at the cliff's edge, wind pulling at his clothes, eyes wide, with wonder and fear. The distance between him and Lily was still vast, but for the first time, he felt like he was moving closer instead of farther away. He whispered the words again, grounding himself, reminding himself of who he was and why. He kept walking. An alien wanderer fell in the desert. A human nomad offered his last drop of water, and with that, Sam began his slow descent toward the alien towers, carrying nothing but his hope, his heart, and the promise of connection. The towers rose like silver bones against the desert sky. From a distance, they had looked small, but as Sam walked closer, he saw their true size. They were massive, each one taller than any mountain he had ever climbed. Their surfaces shimmered with strange light, smooth yet alive, as if the towers themselves breathed. Sam stopped at the base of the nearest one. His heart pounded. He had never seen anything like this. He touched the alien gift in his pocket and it pulsed with warmth, as if guiding him. For a moment he hesitated. What if he was not meant to be here? What if stepping closer was a mistake? But then he remembered Lily. Her voice seemed to echo in his mind. You choose who you are, Sam. Even in fear, you can choose to be brave. He placed his hand against the tower. The surface rippled like water. The gift in his pocket glowed brighter, and the air hummed with energy. A doorway appeared, opening into a dim corridor. Sam swallowed hard. Well, he whispered to himself. No turning back now. He stepped inside. The air was cool, different from the heat outside. The walls glowed faintly, covered with markings like the ones he had seen on the rocks. The gift guided him, glowing brighter when he walked the right way. The silence was heavy, but his thoughts were louder. Lily, if you were here, you'd laugh at me for walking into a tower that doesn't belong to me. But you'd also tell me to keep going. That's why I'm deeper inside. He found a chamber filled with light. In the center stood a pillar, smooth and shining, with symbols spiraling upward. The gift pulsed strongly now, as if asking to be placed there. Sam hesitated. His hands trembled. What if this changes everything? He whispered. What if I can't control it? But then he thought of the night in the desert when he gave his last drop of water to the alien. That moment had been about trust, about hope. So he placed the gift on the pillar. The chamber filled with light. Sam shielded his eyes. The floor shook. For a moment he felt weightless. Then, visions. He saw stars rushing past, whole worlds spinning, oceans and forests, cities and skies unlike any he knew. And then he saw her. Lily. She was older now, her hair tied back, her eyes looking tired but still bright. She stood in a crowded place surrounded by people. She was far, far away, yet somehow close. Sam reached out, heartbreaking, but the vision flickered. Lily, he shouted. Can you hear me? No answer. Only silence. Then the vision faded, leaving him alone in the chamber again. Sam fell to his knees. His chest ached. Tears stung. His eyes. For a moment he felt broken. She was out there, alive, but still out of reach. He pressed his palms to the cold floor. I saw her, he whispered. I saw her, but I couldn't reach her. The sadness was heavy. Distance had never felt so sharp, so cruel. But then he remembered something. He had seen her. She was real, not just a memory. Somewhere across the stars she still walked, still laughed, still lived. And that was enough to keep hope alive. Sam wiped his face and stood again. His legs were weak, but his heart was steady. He looked at the pillar. The gift still glowed faintly, though weaker now, as if its strength had been used to show him that vision. "Thank you," he whispered to it. "That's enough. Now I know she's out there, and I'll keep going until I find a way." He left the chamber and stepped outside. The desert stretched around him, endless as ever. But now it looked different. He no longer felt lost. He had a direction, even if it was only in his heart. Sam filled his lungs with the dry desert air. "Lily," he said softly, "I don't know how long it will take. I don't know how far I'll have to walk, but I'll keep walking until I see you again." He turned his eyes toward the horizon. The towers behind him glowed faintly, as if watching him leave. Ahead, the desert waited. The distance was still great. The silence was still heavy. But hope burned brighter than both. As he walked, his voice carried softly on the wind, repeating the words that reminded him of who he was and what he had chosen. An alien wanderer fell in the desert. A human nomad offered his last drop of water. And with that memory alive in his heart, Sam walked forward into the unknown, carrying not only sadness but also the unbreakable hope of a human who refuses to let distance win. The desert stretched wide once more as Sam left the alien towers behind him. The glowing structures faded into the horizon, but their memory stayed strong in his heart. He had seen Lily, if only for a moment. She was alive, somewhere far away, and that single vision filled him with both sadness and strength. The sadness came because she still felt out of reach. He could not touch her, could not speak to her, could not tell her all the words locked inside his chest. The distance was heavy, like a weight he carried with every step. But the strength came because now he knew. She was not just a memory. She was real, living her life, waiting in some corner of the universe. And knowing she was out there gave him a reason to keep moving forward. Sam walked for days following the horizon. The desert was cruel as always, heat in the day, cold at night, silence pressing down like a stone. But now, when he felt weak, he touched the faintly glowing gift from the alien and remembered the vision. "I saw you, Lily," he whispered during the long nights. "If I could see you once, then maybe I can see you again. And maybe someday, I can reach you." One evening, after a long march, he found a canyon carved deep into the land. The rocks were red and jagged, shadows stretching like claws in the fading light. It was not welcoming, but something pulled him forward. As he walked between the canyon walls, he noticed markings on the stone. Not human, the same style he had seen in the alien tower. His heart quickened. Maybe this was another path, another step closer. The canyon grew darker. The wind howled through the cracks, carrying a low hum that almost sounded like a voice. Sam gripped the glowing gift tightly. Its light grew stronger, guiding him deeper. At last he reached a chamber hidden at the heart of the canyon. In its center stood another pillar, smaller than the one in the tower but similar. The markings glowed faintly, waiting. Sam hesitated. The last vision had shown him Lily, but it had left him aching with distance. Was he ready to feel that pain again? He closed his eyes and remembered her laughter, the way she used to call his name when the nights grew cold. His chest tightened, but he knew the answer. "I'd rather feel the ache than forget," he whispered. "I'll never stop trying." He placed the gift on the pillar. Light filled the chamber, softer this time, like a gentle flame. The air shimmered, and then there she was again. Lily. She was sitting by a fire, speaking to someone beside her, though Sam could not hear the words. Her face looked thoughtful, a little sad, as if she too carried the weight of someone far away. Sam reached forward, tears filling his eyes. Lily, it's me. I'm still here. Can you feel me? The vision flickered. For the briefest moment, Lily turned her head, as if sensing something. Her eyes lifted toward the stars. Then the vision faded. Sam fell to his knees, gripping the cold stone. The ache was sharp, but his heart burned brighter. She had felt it, he was sure of it. Somewhere, across the distance, she had lifted her eyes because she had felt his presence. He pressed his forehead to the stone and whispered, "You know I'm here, don't you? We're not as far as it seems." When the chamber grew dark again, he picked up the gift. Its glow was weaker than before, but still alive. He slipped it into his pocket and stood tall. The canyon no longer felt like a trap. It felt like a path. Sam walked out into the desert night. The stars stretched wide above him, bright and endless. He remembered what Lily had once said, that stars were letters written for those far away. He lifted his face to them. "If you're looking up too, then we're reading the same sky," he whispered. "We're not alone." The desert was still vast. The distance between them was still cruel. But Sam walked forward step by step, carrying hope in his chest. That night by his fire, he spoke aloud as if Lily were sitting beside him. "I'll keep walking until the distance is gone. I don't know how yet, but I will. Because I saw you and because I still believe." The flames crackled and the stars shimmered like silent witnesses. Sam closed his eyes, holding the glowing gift close, and whispered once more the words that reminded him of who he was and what he had chosen on that first night. An alien wanderer fell in the desert. A human nomad offered his last drop of water. And with that, he drifted into sleep, dreaming not of silence, but of reunion. The desert was quiet as Sam walked on, but his heart was loud. Every step echoed with the memory of what he had just seen in the canyon. Lily had turned her head, lifted her eyes, almost as if she could feel him watching. That single moment had changed everything. For so long he had felt like a ghost chasing a memory. But now he knew. She was out there. She felt him. The distance between them was still vast, but it no longer felt endless. Still, the sadness did not vanish. It lingered, sharp and heavy, because he still could not touch her, still could not speak to her. It was like standing outside a window in the dark, able to see the light inside but unable to step in. He carried the alien gift in his pocket, its glow weaker but steady. It had shown him visions, given him hope, but also left him with questions. Could it do more? Could it be the bridge he needed? Days passed. The desert tested him again, sandstorms that cut like knives, heat that burned his skin, nights so cold his breath turned to ice. But Sam pressed on. Every hardship reminded him of why he walked. One night, exhausted and half asleep by his fire, Sam dreamed. In the dream he was standing in the alien tower again, but the pillar was brighter than before. Lily stood on the other side, separated by a wall of light. She reached for him. He reached back. Their hands never touched, but the light flickered as if it wanted to break. When he woke, his hand was outstretched, fingers trembling. The gift in his pocket glowed brighter than it had in days. Sam sat up, heart pounding. "It's not just visions," he whispered. "It's trying to connect us." The thought filled him with both joy and fear. If he was right, then he had a chance, but if he was wrong, then he was clinging to an illusion. He looked at the stars above, endless and patient. "If you can feel me, Lily, then I'll find the way. I'll keep trying until the wall breaks." The next morning he followed the desert trail toward a distant ridge. The gift seemed to guide him, glowing faintly whenever he walked in the right direction. He trusted it step after step. At the top of the ridge he found another structure, smaller than the towers but alive with faint light. Inside it was quiet, almost like a forgotten temple. In its center stood a stone platform with carvings, swirling across its surface. Sam placed the gift in the center. The carvings lit up, lines of light spreading outward like rivers. The air hummed, the ground shook. Then, a window of light opened before him. And there she was. Lily. Clearer than ever. She was sitting alone now, holding a book in her hands. Her eyes were sad, her face thoughtful. Sam's chest ached as he stepped closer. "Lily," he shouted, voice breaking. "It's me, Sam." For a moment nothing happened. Then she lifted her head. Her eyes widened. "Sam?" Her voice was faint, broken by static, but real. Sam's knees almost gave out. "You can hear me," he whispered, tears burning his eyes. "You can finally hear me." The window flickered, unstable, but she leaned closer, as if fighting to hold on. I thought I lost you," she said, her voice trembling. "I thought the desert took you." "I'm still here," Sam said, gripping the edge of the platform. "I've been walking, searching, holding on to hope. I saw you in visions. I knew you were alive, and now I know we can reach each other." The window shook violently, the image breaking into shards of light. "No," Sam shouted. "Not yet. Please, not yet." Lily reached out, her hand pressing against the wall of light. Sam pressed his own hand to it, and for the briefest moment, warmth spread through his palm, as if they had touched across the distance. Then, the window shattered, leaving only darkness. Sam fell to his knees, breath ragged, tears streaming down his face. He had touched her, not fully, not for long, but enough to know it was real. He pressed the glowing gift to his chest. Its light was faint, almost gone, but still alive. "Thank you," he whispered, voice shaking. "You gave me hope when I had none. And you showed me what's possible." He lay by the platform that night, staring at the stars. Sadness filled him, heavy and painful. But it was no longer empty sadness. It was sadness filled with hope, like a wound that knew it would one day heal. "Lily," he whispered to the sky. "We're closer now. I don't know how many steps are left, but I'll take every one. Because that's what it means to be human. We don't stop, even when the world tries to keep us apart." The stars above shone brighter, as if listening. And once again, before sleep took him, Sam spoke the words that had carried him from the start, the words that reminded him of who he was and what he had chosen in the desert. An alien wanderer fell in the desert. A human nomad offered his last drop of water. And with those words alive in his heart, Sam dreamed not of distance, but of reunion.